Bethesda has plans. This is gonna be their year. Huge changes for Fallout, new games, upgrade. Oh god, please no. Please no. Bethesda, I don't want this. No one wants this, in fact, okay? How about you just don't do anything and just outsource it to literally any other company that exists to do it instead of you, because I can't trust you at all, okay? The fentanyl overdosing hobo across the street that's gonna be dead in roughly 30 seconds, I trust him more with game design than anyone in your company. So please, stop.
Bethesda may be about to have an absolutely insane 2025. As of right now, Bethesda has quite a few games and even some
Sprinkling that holy water already, boys, because this is what plants through fear in the heart of a man.
major DLCs, all slated to drop at some point this year. And when you add Xbox on top, this very well could end up being one of the best years for RPG fans ever. And a big part of this is 2025 will very likely be our first real look at the new Bethesda. In this video, I will make perhaps an insane and pointless argument, but I think there is a scenario where we could see the Elder Scrolls 6 in 2025. I don't think we're going to be playing it this year, but yeah, I think there's a chance we could see it. Bethesda's been making some
I don't think Bethesda is going to show us anything about Elder Scrolls 6 at this point. Because, again, after Starfield, people started looking at Elder Scrolls 6 and being like, I don't think I'm buying that at this point. It was the start of Bethesda's end in a very, very literal sense. And I think at this point, the same way that Bethesda probably fully understood that Starfield is going to be a bust to a very huge degree, and that's why they were extremely sparing about originally the game. They didn't show any gameplay, they didn't show anything, and if they showed something, it was like a 0.5 second cut. And I got a lot of hate for pointing it out, but hey, even those 0.5 second cuts revealed so much about the game being dog water, it was not even funny. Then they did pretty much the same thing for the expansion, Shattered Space. And yeah, that went even poorer, which is hard to honestly imagine and even understand to a degree. And yeah, I don't think they're going to show anything about Elder Scrolls 6 because they are afraid, because they know they're going to fail.
serious changes as of late, and we have a really good idea of what's to come from this company, thanks to both old and new leaks that are incredibly telling, like the fact that you'll likely be seeing more very soon. Leading up to the Game Awards 2024, which is just in December, we heard from insiders like Nate Drake how Xbox, which of course now also means Bethesda, wouldn't end up having a major presence at the Game Awards 2024. We still of course did get some major reveals like The Outer Worlds 2 dropping in 2025, we'll talk more about that in a moment, but overall, saving some of the big reveals is a new strategy from Xbox, as now they tend to save some of their stuff for this January Developer Direct. As of right now, the 2025 Developer Direct hasn't even been announced yet, but several insiders do report that the event is happening and an announcement should be coming shortly. Even just earlier today, insider Xstasis posted this cryptic tweet mentioning tomorrow and 23, likely suggesting that the Developer Direct will be announced tomorrow and take place.
God, I love these cryptic tweets, and that the only people who care about them are the truest fanboys. These tweets mean nothing.
On January 23rd. And this year is a special one, as we have a really good idea of what Bethesda is going to announce thanks to some of these past leaks. You've probably seen this roadmap. Microsoft actually leaked this themselves on accident while trying to upload a Phil Spencer deposition during the FTC trial in 2023. This roadmap was an overlooked attachment on that deposition.
By the way, yes, Bethesda is so competent they can't even buy competent lawyers for them. Well, that's Microsoft, I guess, in this case.
Giving us Bethesda's internal roadmap that they made in 2020. So on one hand, yes, this is fairly outdated, nearly 4.5 years old now, but on the other hand, this leaked a year and a half ago. So now we have a pretty good idea on its accuracy. We could see what is held true and what hasn't.
Just look at this. How is this even real life, honestly? I just don't understand it. Look at this. Look at this shooting in Fallout 4. It looks fun. You kind of actually want to play the game the moment you see it. And then you see the Indiana Jones shit and you're like, nah, I'm good, fam.
Dated, nearly 4.5 years old now, but on the other hand, this leaked a year and a half ago. So now we have a pretty good idea on its accuracy. We could see what is held true and what hasn't held true.
It's insane. how is one so appealing by nothing, and the other one is just so disgusting and poor by everything?
Because at least thus far, the reality is, for many of the games listed on this roadmap, if you simply apply a 2-year delay to the stated date, this roadmap has been shockingly accurate, which means we're probably going to be seeing Doom the Dark Ages pretty soon. This was announced last year with a slated 2025 release date, a new medieval Doom game that to me looks absolutely epic. And there is a...
Okay, so the Doom game does look good, but on my bucket list of the next thing that's gonna go, tits up, essentially, is actually Doom. I think Doom is a perfect candidate for modern audiences. I think Doom is too crude. I think Doom should use a little bit of that female empowerment, a little bit of diversity. And yes, in my opinion, Doom is an extremely good candidate to be the next great franchise to fall to wokeness. Doom has all the hallmarks of something that they probably hate.
Pretty good chance you'll be playing this one soon. Doom 2016 dropped in May, while Doom Eternal came even earlier in March. From this roadmap, we can see that Bethesda originally planned to have both Doom the Dark Ages and its first DLC out in the same year. So based off those past release dates, plus the timing of a DLC and a game in the same year, definitely makes me think that this new Doom game is coming out in the next 3 to 4 months, which means it'll almost certainly claim a main spot at the 2025 Developer Direct. So if you're excited...
God, that direct is gonna be so bad. What do we have here? This is... I can't see it. This is the Hellblade. This is the Hellblade saga. This was, 5 out of 10 at the best of days. And, no one still played it because everyone thought it was woke, but it wasn't actually that super woke. It had aspects, but, whatever. Don't think I know what this even is, actually. And Avowed, a game that's literally gonna collapse. Even if it's good, by the way, Avowed is gonna underperform to unreasonable degree, okay? Avowed has absolutely no chance of surviving because it's gonna cost $70. We're gonna have to pay fucking $70 for a AA game that we are not even sure about. I ain't spending that money. Most people aren't spending that money. Avowed is gonna be a complete bust just because of the price point alone.
So if you're excited for Doom, we're likely getting a deep dive in just a couple of weeks. But that's not all, because do you know what Todd Howard wants? To release a game on
to be roughly, 5 inches taller?
Incredibly short notice.
I like when you really see the game to when it's out is as short as possible.
Yeah.
Short as people will let me.
You would go shorter if you could?
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe... I'm trying to think what's perfect right now. Maybe a week just to get people excited.
Right.
To have those moments of, I saw it, there's some trailers, percolates in your mind, and there.
That is a quote from an interview all the way back in 2019.
Yeah. I'll contextualize that interview, how actually bad that is, okay? Listen. Todd Howard then ironically thinks that things like Starfield and whatnot are currently performing poorly because they're too big. They're too long because they need to make shorter games. Yeah. Unironically, Todd Howard thinks that they're in this situation because their games are just too long, too big, too cool and shit. There's no saving. There's no saving Bethesda.
But I've been thinking about this quote a lot lately due to this recently leaked Oblivion remake. This game leaked back in 2023, but in the past couple of weeks, it has been getting a ton of leaks, with several insiders now expecting that the Oblivion remake will be revealed at the 2025 Developer Direct. And just right off the bat, yeah, that makes sense. Hi-Fi Rush was a surprise reveal at the original Developer Direct, and it seems like something they like to do with these events. If you haven't heard about this Oblivion remaster/remake, I've covered this one a few times now. It leaked on Reddit all the way back in 2023 and was described as being made by Virtuous Games, an existing outsourcing developer, and this one would be using 2 engines stacked on top of one another to basically be a remaster remake hybrid. Visuals are remade in Unreal Engine 5, as well as certain game features can be remade if you want to. But at the same time, a ton of stuff can be left the same, so it'll still feel like Oblivion. Even though this was just a random Reddit post, the moderators on this subreddit did verify the leaker's identity, and even after this, we saw other insiders report about hearing about an Oblivion remaster being worked on, and then of course, Microsoft themselves leaked this roadmap showing the Oblivion remaster is in fact a real thing. But then things went quiet. For most of 2024, there really wasn't much chatter around this at all. But right at the end of the year, Xtasis came forward once again claiming the Oblivion remaster is real and would be at the Developer Direct 2024. This speculation likely based off quotes from Nate Drake on Reset Era, who also mentioned the—
I'm not gonna lie, from all the things, the Oblivion remake is probably the least exciting thing on my map by far. Would I play it? Yes, actually. Well, I would play it but not pay for it, because Bethesda can go to hell and die.
Oblivion remake, as well as Doom the Dark Ages and a first expansion for that game, it would already be a pretty massive year from Bethesda. But if this roadmap is to be believed, there's 2 more giant projects coming this year as well. Project Kestrel is the upcoming Zenimax Online Studios MMO. We know this from a previous GeForce Now leak, which did reveal the codename, and while we don't know much about what the MMO itself will be, what we do know is that this game is shaping up to be giant. It's been in development since October of 2018, according to this LinkedIn, and during that time, Zenimax Online Studios opened up several totally new offices to help work on this project. So you're talking about nearly 7 years of dev time, multiple new studios opened, and the only other major detail we know about is there's going to be some kind of vehicle system, as a senior vehicle designer.
Oh, yeah, every MMO with a vehicle system has been shit. I'm not even kidding, there's no such thing as a vehicle system-based MMO that has not been a complete bust. It's just not a real thing. It doesn't exist. Okay, and, I mean, this is just one more thing to die in front of World of Warcraft, while World of Warcraft is dying itself and it doesn't even know it has competition still. It's probably not gonna work out. Okay? Sounds exciting, new MMO, very cool, but the reality is, yeah, I would not get my hopes up. I have never heard about this also before.
Is one of the job listings that was posted during this time. This is one of those games where we don't really know much about what it could be right now, but it just seems like it'll be massive, and based off this leaked roadmap, it has a really good chance at dropping this year, or at the very least being revealed this year. It's one of those things where, yeah, we know nothing right now, but for some of you watching, this game will get revealed, become your most anticipated game of the year, and probably take over your life for a bit. Conversely, Project Platinum is a bit more obscure. This was also in the GeForce Now leak, but originally listed as an Indiana Jones game, which on this roadmap is a completely separate listing. So what I suspect is going on here is this—
if there's a single Indiana Jones game in the works, it's already cancelled. There is no way they're gonna keep Indiana Jones up after it had, you know, the equivalent of 3 people playing it total.
Project Platinum could just be a different game from Machine Games, who also worked on Indiana Jones. And there's a fairly obvious candidate for what this could be that is otherwise not located on the roadmap, and that's Wolfenstein 3. But okay, I know, many of you are immediately thinking, wait, what? That can't be possible, right? Dropping Indiana Jones in December, and then Wolfenstein 3 literally the very next year, and likely within 12 months, would be pretty insane. Those are 2 giant—
after the last Wolfenstein and how woke fucking garbage it was? No.
projects. But even on the original roadmap, Bethesda did have these 2 games only separated by a year, assuming Project Platinum is actually some project by Machine Games. We've seen job listings hinting at a Wolfenstein 3, and just generally, Machine Games working on Wolfenstein 3 really wouldn't be a shock. If anything, it'd kind of be expected. But I do kind of wonder why Wolfenstein 3 would then get a code name on this roadmap in the first place. It's not like this game is some big secret that would shock a bunch of people, so why are they hiding it? So who knows? Maybe this is something completely unrelated. Maybe Wolfenstein 3 is actually several more years away. That's why it didn't pop up on this roadmap. And one way or another, Bethesda has another surprise project potentially coming in 2025 if the dates on this roadmap are to be believed. And it seems like the success of Indiana Jones may have seriously elevated Machine Games. Jez Corden recently reported that Disney wants more from—
success for Indiana Jones? Are you kidding me? Indiana Jones and a Great Circle Steam DB. let's check. Okay, yep, no, okay. The great success, Jesus Christ! How do you shouldn't be allowed to use words that you don't understand? Okay, listen. Here is the Steam DB for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. A whopping 1.8k players currently playing, an all-time peak of 12k players, and an absolute, completely horrendous, disastrous everything. Okay, there is no future for this. If these people, it has actually a positive rating because again, the game is, I mean, it's not actually evoked. There is an annoying part where you have a bait and switch where you're supposed to play not as indie but as a woman. But all in all, the women are likable. They're nice. They act like humans, not entitled pieces of shit and whatnot. It's actually great. It's a breath of fresh air. But the gameplay is dull. The gameplay is stupid. There's graphical bugs. The NPC's detection is worse than Dishonored. This game is basically Dishonored with 50% worse at its best part. Okay, yeah, and that's not great. Okay, this is a disaster. This has no future. Any indie game should be cancelled instantaneously, and anyone calling Indiana Jones and the Great Circle if no one cares, Ben should probably face some kind of repercussions.
Them.
And Indiana Jones, a Disney insider suggested that there was going to be more in Indiana Jones, and I will say on my end, I've also heard that Disney picked up the phone and wants more Indiana Jones.
But one that may come.
And if this, okay, listen, this Indiana Jones failed without being woke. Add Disney to the mix, and you have literally another dial of dysentery upon your hands, and that's gonna be if this scored 12k peak view players, then that's gonna score like 10 peak players.
Come as a bit of a surprise is Bethesda Game Studios has the potential to be surprisingly active this year, releasing a lot more content than you were expecting, even not including that Oblivion remake. As of right now, it's not really clear when Season 2 of the Fallout TV show is coming out. We've seen numerous quotes about how they're working to get Season 2 out as fast as humanly possible, and we've already seen a variety of set photo leaks get posted online as Season 2 filming began in late 2024. If you're curious...
Nice, I'm gonna talk about this so much. It's an aggressive 5 out of 10. If you haven't seen my reviews, go watch them. Because I think Season 2 is gonna be a disaster.
About those leaks, get subscribed as I have another video coming on the TV show. Right now, it definitely seems ambitious for Season 2 to drop in 2025. And even as I was just filming this video, we got the news that filming has been suspended due to the ongoing fires in California. So if anything, it seems only more likely that, yeah, Season...
Yep, that thing is literally kind of blazing. I just saw it today. Yeah.
2 is in 2026. But either way, the Fallout TV show has had an impact, and Bethesda's plans have changed as a result of this. Last year, Bethesda had 2 in-person Fallout 76 events in London, this showing off some of the game's future updates. This is a new thing. These events were a direct response to the increased player count from the TV show, and they do reflect a considerable increase in investment into Fallout from Xbox. Like, put simply, it's just new money. They weren't doing Fallout events, and then all of a sudden the TV show comes out, a bunch of new players are there, and they got a larger budget allocation, so they now can put on events. But I think it's a safe bet.
This is going to be so insane because it's true, the Fallout TV show was a ginormous success. It was shit, but, you know, overall. But it was a ginormous success. You can't deny that fact, right? But this is the thing. It was an unprecedented success. And now there's no way Season 2 lives up to any of the hype. And that means Bethesda is currently putting money in one thing that actually went their way and was successful in the literal, you know, like past 10 years almost at this point. And all of that money is going to be just blown in the wind because it's not going to be successful. The Fallout Season 2 is not going to be successful. There's no way. The tourists are going to be gone. And it's going to be bad.
To extrapolate that. So keeping that in mind, I would just expect more Fallout in general in 2025 from Bethesda, because several teams...
Also, does this gameplay look fun to you?
likely just got a budget increase internally. Bigger presence at events is something I hope Bethesda does. I'd really love to see them back at PAX East, but also larger and even more frequent updates for Fallout 76 seems like a lock. I fully suspect 2025 to be the game's most active year yet, but Bethesda does have other big things coming even beyond that. In his recent interview with Mr. Matty Plays, Todd Howard made it clear that Bethesda made a mistake with Fallout 4 and Skyrim.
We would look back at Skyrim, which we're still updating,
Right.
to a small extent, and there's all of the creations and mods there. Still a hugely played game. Same with Fallout 4, that we wish we had supported them longer. And as we go into Elder Scrolls 6, we sort of, with all of these games, you got to start now by thinking about like a 10-year horizon.
Hey, listen, I'm not gonna lie. That you can't find a Bethesda game where the community that still plays that game up to this point is like, oh, I wish Bethesda supported us. They are wishing Bethesda doesn't even look in the direction of their games. Look at what's happening with Fallout 4. They launched the next-gen update, which no one can even tell is it better or actually worse than what they had previously for Fallout 4. It broke all the mods, it added bugs that never existed before, it fixed fucking nothing, and it reintroduced already previously existing bugs. It is insane. Like, the people who like Bethesda games are wishing that Bethesda just makes a game and then doesn't touch it ever again.
Right? How do we support a game for that long?
2024 is the year we start to see that change, but I think 2025 is really the big one, as Bethesda describes how both...
I mean, let me just give you a small story here. Watch this.
You got to start now by thinking about like...
is the year we...
Right? How do we...
There we go, watch.
Support a...
You see this? This gun costs literally $20. It's tied to a DLC quest that you can buy from the whatever workshop in Starfield that Bethesda themselves are selling. $20, or was it 10? 10, 20, whatever dollars for roughly, literally 30 minutes of gameplay. And at the end, you kind of get this gun, which is already a bad deal, but here's the kicker. This gun, I'm not even sure if it can be done at this point, but this gun could not be reloaded. And the last time I heard it was like that, like a 1 month or even longer than 1 month after this gun got introduced. You're selling a $10, $20, a $30-minute experience with a grand prize, a sniper rifle at the end, that literally cannot be reloaded. The moment you shoot the 2, 6 or whatever shots this gun has, you couldn't shoot it ever again. Because the reload didn't happen, it didn't work, it didn't do anything. And that's how it stayed a minimum for 1 month. I'm not even sure if it's fixed at this point. I don't even know that. It probably isn't.
Game for that long.
2024 is the year we start to see that change, but I think 2025 is really the big one, as Bethesda describes how both Starfield and the Elder Scrolls 6 will see more support compared to their older projects.
That expectation that we'll update them for years is true.
So with Elder Scrolls 6 going in with that knowledge, is the plan like a long-term support for that too?
100%. Yeah. You know, content-wise, we're looking at kind of like what we do with Far Harbor on Fallout 4. We're like,
Speaking my
okay,
language.
this is a scope that works for, you know, our development in doing this kind of annual story expansion type of thing. So
I know things change, but would you say you're aiming to do like an annual story expansion every year?
I would say we want to, more or less, yeah.
They sold but I completely forgot, by the way, about this. They sold the Shattered Space DLC as a Far Harbor tier level expansion. Okay? That it's the same size as Far Harbor, which is a fucking lie. And it has the same level of storytelling as which is obviously a lie. And it's just lies. Bethesda is no longer capable of writing even a poop joke properly, let alone an actual interesting and interweaving story with nuance. They don't probably know how to pronounce the word nuance any longer.
Yeah, how long that continues, hopefully a very long time, but we're planning for the one after this, so there will be another one.
So of course, we know Starfield is getting another expansion this year. Starborn is the name, and that was even recently trademarked. And this is a big deal, because Bethesda plans to do this indefinitely, as long as players stick around. As we're basically seeing Bethesda break up into distinct teams here. Many devs are working on the next AAA project with the Elder Scrolls 6, but also a team working on DLC for the last project for Starfield's DLC. And not even just in the form of expansions, because paid mods are also really starting to take off for both Starfield and Skyrim, with even Bethesda releasing some of their own paid mods or creations.
All of the paid mods are just asset flip slop, by the way, if you're wondering.
And even contracting mod teams to make some of their own content. This is one of those weird aspects of Bethesda's evolving plans. I suspect they release a good amount of content via creations this year, and verified creators in the program are going to be doing the same. And with some of these teams, you're talking about a roughly DLC-sized quality and sized mod. Some of this content is getting really, really good, and people are buying this stuff. I've heard from several users in the program that yes, they're continuing to make content for it, and they're making pretty good money from what they're releasing. So for some of you, this is absolutely great news. A bunch more.
The people who are sticking around with Starfield, they are actually gonna buy all of this shit. That is true. That is actually the reality of the situation. But no, for the average person, this is like trash. This is nothing.
Content for your favorite games, but I also know there's a whole other chunk of you who are watching right now that have zero interest in a paid mod and don't even browse this menu. But one way or another, my understanding here is Bethesda's investment into paid mods with creations has been a massive success. And as such, I would expect much more of that in 2025, including with Oblivion. I have to imagine they want to bring creations, aka paid mods, into all future releases. But what about the next Fallout game? A pretty wild theory popped up recently that you're likely going to hear more and more as 2025 goes on. Obsidian Entertainment is doing the unthinkable. They're releasing both Avowed and The Outer Worlds, two AAA RPGs, within the same year. Avowed is coming in just a couple of months on
They're both double A quality, by the way. There is a chance that The Outer Worlds 2 could be good, even though that chance is like 10% at the best here, because we watched the trailer for it, we watched the stuff, we checked out what's known about it, and it seems that all the problems that people didn't like about The Outer Worlds in the first place are completely ignored and not even addressed in The Outer Worlds 2. They add a gun with a cool effect, and they're like, "Oh, look at this! Isn't this better?" No, it's not. I mean, an extra gun, cool and whatnot, but this is not why I'm playing Avowed. I'm not playing Avowed not Avowed, but Outer Worlds to experience fucking Call of Duty. Okay? If I want to play Call of Duty, I play Call of Duty. I play Avowed and Outer Worlds for different reasons, and you're completely neglecting them.
February 18th or February 13th with early access. So just from the onset, that is huge. Avowed has been almost universally praised from its previews. This game is shaping up to be a big hit for RPG fans, and The Outer Worlds was just a world that I personally loved. Most of my complaints come around the scale of that game, so hopefully a bigger sequel with Xbox money behind it will be even better. The Outer Worlds 2 is genuinely one of my most anticipated games right now. But then what? Obsidian is going to have a lot of developers available for something new, and I think that something new could be Fallout. A lot of the current speculation about what's going to happen next with Fallout stems from a Jez Corden quote from last year. This was posted right after the Fallout TV show dropped and started smashing some of the major records. Not just in viewership for the show, but of course also in player counts for the game.
Actually, it didn't smash any records except in-house records. Yep. Not a single record was smashed. Only in-house best.
A very important piece of context here. The Fallout TV show doesn't necessarily make Microsoft or Bethesda a ton of money. To actually make the show, it's likely just a flat licensing fee, nothing crazy. Because Xbox and Bethesda will make their money on the game side, monetizing all of those new players that come to the Fallout games. So of course, having a new game to sell is going to be incredible.
That sounds very, very anti-consumer.
Incredibly important to get the most out of this project. But of course, that's not here yet. There isn't a new Fallout game, and it doesn't even seem like there will be a new Fallout game in the next year or two. Or at least there wasn't going to be, but now...
There will be. After the success of the show, it got... either something got rushed or something is being put together with haste. They can't miss the train.
Jez Corden thinks Xbox is changing up their plans to get this game out sooner.
This is different. It's a bit different here because They've already got the engine. It's the Starfield engine. They've just got to kind of make assets for it.
Well, okay, who would make
Yeah.
the game? Certainly not Bethesda. It would have to be
That's
somebody
what it's-
else.
That's
That's
good.
what they're talking about right now. I'm suggesting someone else is going to build Fallout
Someone
5.
else at Bethesda would come in and make a Fallout 5.
Not
Would
necessarily.
it be
Bethesda.
Fallout 5 or would it be Fallout City?
It might be Fallout City, but I think, yeah, they're putting a plan in place, and
You know how I think, honestly, devs are missing out on the cities and things like that? It's like, everyone uses the big known cities, and that's fucking boring. Fallout, New Jersey. Yeah, well, I mean, wasn't New Jersey already a nuclear wasteland anyway? Fallout, Texas. How about something that no one expects, like Fallout, I don't know, Tampa? How about Fallout Tulsa King? How about them? That sounds so much more epic and cooler because you don't know what to expect.
I don't think it'd necessarily be Todd's.
Like, think about it. Okay, Fallout New... Okay, Fallout San Francisco. Oh, wow. Sans ghouls. So fun. So innovative. No one cares.
Main Bethesda team doing it. I think probably Obsidian.
You think Obsidian's going to do it?
I think so, yeah.
How about no?
That's based on nothing. But I just know that they know they can't let this take that long.
And to be clear on what's actually being said here, Xbox wants this next Fallout game out sooner, as soon as possible, but Jez is merely speculating that Obsidian will be the ones to work on it. And as of right now, Obsidian really does seem like the safest bet. There are numerous quotes from over the years of the studio head at Obsidian saying how
Yeah, but I mean, this is not the same Obsidian that made Fallout New Vegas, so...
sooner, and hey, maybe even the Elder Scrolls 6. Right now, we don't know much about the Elder Scrolls 6. Last year, it was revealed that the project was in full production, but there are a few factors pointing towards a 2026 release date for this title. That leaked roadmap would be at 2026 if you apply that 2-year delay.
Okay, we already know this information. In any case, yeah, that was juicy head, 10 out of 10. Oh boy. Bye.